everybody. John here, John the Other, obviously. And I used to think that the signature of totalitarianism and fascism was censorship, or stated, I guess, the opposite way. I used to think that that censorship was the signature of fascism, meaning when you see censorship, that indicates that the organization or the people or the government or whatever that is imposing censorship is of a fascist ideology. And I say used to think because I'm not sure that that's correct now. I think the actual signature, the characteristic, the defining characteristic of a fascist society and government, and also, I guess it's necessary to talk about what we mean by fascism, because the formal definition of fascism, the technical formal definition, is when you have a government that extends itself into all areas of business. So all businesses are actually owned by the government. That would be the technical definition, but a kind of broader and more commonly held understanding is just an authoritarian, totalitarian, repressive government. But the thing is, we used to have a kind of Hollywood idea of how a totalitarian or a fascistic government would work, and that was that it was a small cabal of militaristic or authoritarian authority figures in government exerting an arbitrary set of onerous rules on an unwilling populace, using force or access to money or suspension of access to work and all this stuff, but imposing all these rules on an unwilling society, and then everybody was like chafing under the the iron control of a authoritarian, totalitarian government. But I realize now that's wrong. That's kind of a Hollywood idea, that a truly fascistic government is also a fascistic society. The two go together. It requires the voluntary participation of every person in a society for it to be truly authoritarian and fascistic. And the defining feature of such a society and government is that everybody is lying all the time. All the news media are lying, private citizens are lying, corporations are lying, anybody doing public outreach or public speaking or publication or blogging or opinion manufacturing is lying. Everybody is lying all the time. And that's a little worrying. People who've escaped from fascistic or totalitarian regimes, like people who've escaped from communist authoritarian states to the West, will describe that climate of everybody constantly lying, and everybody's informing on everybody else, which seems to be now a rising trend in the West, which is worrying. But the reason I bring all of this up is that, remember that the Hollywood idea of a fascistic and authoritarian society is that you have, a powerful, strong-arm kind of a government forcing a bunch of restriction and rules on an unwilling population. But in reality, when this happens, it's everybody buying into maintaining a set of lies that everybody knows is lies. Everybody is lying all the time. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing these videos and I have this channel. And quite a few people in the comments will say things like, "Oh my God, you're so brave for doing this, you continue to tell the truth, you're so brave," and blah blah blah. I'm not that brave. I'm this much brave. I'm that much, which isn't much. But one of the reasons that I keep doing this is to demonstrate to other people, to the people watching, that you can tell the truth and argue against these popular authoritarian lies, the lies of corporations saying that they buy into Black Lives Matter and that it's all about Black lives. It's not. It's about promoting Marxism. If Black Lives Matter cared one single sliver about actual black people, they would address the problem of black-on-black violence, but they don't. They might address the fatherless problem, which is facilitated by social services programs, which motivates people to divide the family and kick the father out of the family, because then you get more money. If Black Lives Matter cared they'd look at the causal chain, but no, they're just grabbing the tail end of the stick where somebody's life ends with an unfortunate, an accidental or even a murderous death at the hands of the police. But you didn't get there by accident. You're not like going to the library and using your library card and getting a college degree and getting killed in classroom. It's a life of misadventure that leads to getting killed by the police. So all these corporations, selling us this, we buy into Black Lives Matter. Well, what they're actually promoting is Marxism, and they're amoral. The corporations are amoral. And all these celebrities, these woke idiot Muppets coming on and telling you how much they care and singing Imagine, they're lying. And, our governments will come out and say, well, I stand with the Black Lives Matter, or I stand with Antifa. Or we look at the news. I'm going to put a headline up from the BBC. Now, the BBC, when I was growing up, they were the benchmark for excellence and reliability in journalism when I was growing up. And now look at this ridiculous headline, 27 police injured in a non-violent protest. Non-violent. Well, how did you get 27 injuries? I mean, the headline is self-exploding. The headline is blatantly absurd on its face. And we are now in such a culture of persistent and constant lying that a news media organization doesn't even have the self-awareness to go, well, you don't get 27 police injuries in a peaceful event. That's clearly a street battle between some arbitrarily large number of police and some other arbitrarily large number of violent rioters. And I mean, that's just one particularly egregious example. The Orange Man Bad coined the term fake news, but we don't need to like or dislike him to realize that most of the news is lying to us all the time about almost everything. So maybe what it takes for us not to slide into a fascist society is for just a few more people to have the small amount of courage, because that's all I've got, is this much. That's all I've got. I'm not some giant testicled courageous superhero guy. I just got just this much nerve, this much toughness. It's not that much. It doesn't take much. And my consistent uploading of videos is at least partly to demonstrate to you that you can speak up and not get your head chopped off. So I'm asking for some of you, not all of you, and remember, you only need this much balls to do it. And ladies, you got at least this much balls too. Even though there's only like 3 to 5% of you watching my videos are female, come on. You are given more weight when you're female than you are when you're male. So some of you, find the nerve and start pushing back against the lies, because the price you're going to pay, it isn't that you're going to get canceled or get shut down or kicked out of your job. Because if the culture of constant lying doesn't get stopped by some people standing up against it, then we're all going to lose. This is going to become a hellscape. We're going to lose everything. We're going to lose a free society. We're going to lose the productivity of a modern economy. We're going to lose modern technology. We're going to lose modern medicine. We're going to lose the right to have the internet. We're going to lose the right to have blogs. We're going to lose the right to use YouTube, except to say only the prescribed and approved of politically correct narrative, which we can all see is increasingly absurd lies. And that's not how I want to live. I think the truth matters. And some of you, just a few, just a couple more, not all of you, doesn't take everybody, a few more of you need to find that small amount of nerve that I've got. And I don't have that much. I'm not super brave. And start pushing back. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. And as always, have a lovely, lovely day while you still can.